Hi guys, what I'm going to do today is show you how to do the checking process in Solibri, and then how you can record the results and put them into a presentation. So look, I showed you in the class the basic kind of interface. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to add some models. So I'm going to add the model which is just a basic architectural model, I hope. And when it opens up, you'll get a little dialog box about what discipline. You can put a short name in if you like. I can try and maybe put something there, A, for architectural. I want to obviously put in some other models because we want to try and get some clashes. So I'm going to put in the structural model. And I want to put in the actual ventilation model too. So I'll just put in that one as well. And you will do the same process when you actually get the IFC models from Moodle that Afchal will have loaded up. So I've got now my federated model, and you can kind of rotate it and view it. And one little trick that I didn't show people in the demo the other night is we can do sectioning, which you can go up to the pane at the top, but it's normally set for info. If you go to sectioning, you kind of click on a wall, and then if you press shift and left click, you can go through the building and save views and zoom in, and you can actually see what's happening with some services integration and distribution, and you know, see these ducts appearing here. Now if you want to get rid of sectioning, you just right click and go down to sectioning and say remove all the section panes, and don't forget to go back to info up here. Okay, so look, we have got a federated model. I think our next thing is just to go and do some checking. And that's quite easy because we just go into this checking tab and we decide what rule sets. And for the purposes of this course, you're just going to choose the rule sets that come packaged with the application. And, you know, we can do you can make your own rule sets, but we're not going into that. It's quite a complex process. So we're just going to go with the basic ones to let you see the process. In here, you can add, you know, rule sets from down here, or you can actually add ones that are already in this little pane. If you click one here and then command click, control click, or shift click, you should be able to get the ones that you like. So I'm just going to go with the ones that they've mentioned, and I am going to click OK. Now you'll get a warning up here about classifications, but I wouldn't worry about that as well. So just it talks here about the different formats, uniformat and omni class. So if I open this thing up, I think I may be able to see what it is. So this is describing various protocols for classifying building elements, and you'll see this model has got not very many. So there's different models that may have classification names and property sets, but again, we don't need to do that. Okay, we're ready to check. Let's go and check the model. And when we do this, I'm just going to say check anyway. And you'll see the little traffic light system, and things are starting to happen here on the left. And we want to then look at the results. You could just go in here and say, well, that one's okay. Component check. It says floor heights, so I don't know what's wrong with this one. Top to bottom distances, so I'm going to see what that is. So I'm going to click here, and it'll kind of show you a slide, and could have a slide with the various grids on it to try and help locate matters. And you can unpack it and say, well, look, what's wrong with this? What part is it? And there may be just the different slabs, and it's going to identify which slabs are involved. But if you want a general description, so what I would suggest you do is when you click on this thing, see if we can get what the description is. And this is the one, and I sometimes just copy that because I think I might use it for a slide. So I just highlight it and go Command C, Control C, whatever your computer does. And I'm going to make a slide of that. So I'm going to click over here and say add a slide. And you'll see it brings up this interface, and this interface is an issue. And I'm going to then paste in what that said about the too high a distance, ground floor, second floor. Now at the minute this is rejected because we want people to have a look at it. If we think there is an issue like columns crashing into beams, which we actually want, we'll accept it, but at the minute we'll just reject that. It's open until it's resolved, and I want my team to fix it by the 10th of April. On this stage we could just say okay, it's construction design or whatever work stages your team has agreed. Priority, you can set your own high, medium, low, and then you can come down here and decide whose responsibilities, so you can click and say here mechanical if they were involved. So you're trying to figure out which people are going to be involved in the discussions to try and resolve this thing. Now people can add comments down here, so I can type in whose fault is this. But obviously you'll be much more diplomatic. Don't use BIM as a weapon was something that I'd heard before. Now what we can do is you can also adjust the view over here to try and help people locate where the issue might be, and then you can just add another slide here. Okay, and you'll get 1, 2 down here. And if you were to zoom in on a specific item, you can then say, well, the slide, you can create a slide of that view as well, but it's up to you to try and choose which views best communicate the the issue. So I've now got 3 slides in this issue, and if I close it, that little icon tells me there's a slide associated with that issue or clash. So you could just do the same thing for each one, I mean, we go to clearance in front of windows. So if I just click this one, and there's a very detailed one, it's kind of telling you that there's an awful lot of these ones occurring, but that's the overarching ones. If we want to unpack that a bit, it'll just give us one of them, and you can zoom in right in again, and it'll actually even let you see what the dimensions related are, and it's basically to do with this column being a little bit close proximity to that window. And I'm just going to say right click, add a slide, and you just do the same process I did before about the description. You may have to go to this column over here, so I'll just go to that one and unpack it and see if I can see what the description might be. Now you may not get it. If you don't, we might have to just go with our own description in our own words. So I'm just going to try it one more time and see if I can get it. If I can't, I will just... No, I think there's so many of them, it probably isn't coming up through. So just decide what you want to say. Column 2 plus, can glazing be amended? Or, can column be moved? So this is how you communicate. So and then we try and spell correctly as well, and go through this little process again, because it's going to end up in a report. And if someone's not needed here, like this mechanical one might not be needed, you can take that out, I think. Sorry. So this label, that's just a label we want, but I think if you want to bring it in, you can type mechanical here and click OK. And then if you think it's going to be more the architectural, you're going to click architectural. And, that mechanical one, I think we can get rid of it as well. So you can see I've just got rid of him there. And again, don't forget you can add more slides. If I was to move this one around or get a bigger overview of the whole context and try to see what's near grid line D, for instance, just click here. And we should have a extra slide here. And there's the extra slide. Write your comments. There's another trick you can do that, if you have a picture of something that is on your desktop and you want to add it, you can click this one. And I'm going to browse, and you can see I've probably got one here that I used already. And I'm just going to go for this one called highlighted issue, I think. And it was one, I think, well, it was actually one for a wall that I've got, so I might leave that one to later, but it's just, you can see the wall one here, so I'll put that in when the wall issue arises. And once you've done that, just click OK. Now I'm only going to do a couple more because I think this space check. So model shader spaces, I think this one, there's a few issues. It said here there's some components missing, so you might go to where this is and saying in a certain model, the ventilation model, there's nothing there, but I guess the spaces wouldn't be there. Space properties, space location, let's see what this is saying. Space validation. And I think the boundary one was one that I think I noticed there was a thing in an office. So I click this one and go to this one and try and highlight what it is. With any luck, it should take me to this one, which is where the office, and this is the slide I want, because you can see here the Solibri does a great job of pointing out that this wall is not actually lining up with the space, and I definitely want to create a slide for that. And the slide will be created. If you need to add another one to show context, to say it's beside the stairs, just go like this, and you've got 2 slides. And that, you know, type in your comments, put in your description. So here's the description. I normally copy it down here, and I'll put it up here. And don't forget, you can add your own comments. So I've created 3 slides. I'm just going to do one more, which is the intersection between same type of components, because there's quite a good one about wall-to-wall intersections here. Components inside each other, and I'm going to create a slide. Add a slide. I want to get the description, so I'll hit this one. And this kind of just gives you a bit more information about the slides, you know, and what the issue may be. So if I double click this again, I can just paste that in. And down here, I don't think you can actually go in here and then hit this wall and get it highlighted, because it won't let me put a slide in here. So what I tended to do was take this thing out of the way. I right clicked and went copy a snapshot, and that snapshot I would open it up in something like Windows Paint or something and save it, and you know, you could rotate it and copy the snapshot this way if you like, and you know, just edit it in your whatever photo image editor you have. But what that means is that if you go into the slide that I haven't created yet, so add slide. So there's a slide. I think actually I did do a slide up here. So let's go to the one I've already created. Show the slide. And I'm going to go up to, yeah, so there's the intersection, but what I want to do is add a picture here. So I just click add the picture, and I'm going to browse, and it could be on your desktop. It's definitely on my desktop. So I click highlighted issue, okay, and put it in, and then that actually becomes part of the slideshow as well. So you can put that picture in. I think that one is the default slide, but we can then just say here add a slide, and then again, if you need to show what room it is, you can create views that are going to help your design team you know, identify where the issues are. So we've got 3 slides, location. So okay, what do I do with that stuff? I'm going to create a report. So I'll go to communication, and all you got to do is then click to add new presentation. And what it will ask you to do is say, where do you want to take it from? We don't really have any building collaboration files or servers, and I haven't done an information takeoff, which is to do with quantities, but I have done some checking. So I click that one, and this is telling me the issues I picked up across these rules. So on a massive project, you could have a lot more than this. So I'm just going to click OK. And down below, you'll see there's a presentation, which if I click on each slide, I can go to them up here in the window, and you can actually view them and rotate. And this presentation will be useful for people who have the free version of Solibri anywhere. It could be on site, and you know, or in an office. So they don't all need to have the model checking version to access the results that you and I have created. So this is a kind of a very useful one for use with a BIM viewer. But you can do reports as well. So I can do an Excel report. So if I click this one and just say save report, I on my computer have had a bit of an issue with the PDF ones. So I'll try the PDF one, but I don't think it's going to work because I tried it already. So the fonts are not working for me, but I know the Excel spreadsheet one worked okay. So if I say save the report, and I'll just save it there. Hopefully this will open up for me, and you can see it actually does quite a nice job. So it's got all these presentations, and it's got all the slides, and it's got the date, the author, which is me, and issue description. So it's a fairly powerful tool that you guys could use as an appendices, maybe for the overall team report. So basically that's checking, and hopefully you'll be able to give it a go. And if you have any specific issues, please just get in touch with me to set up a Zoom meeting.